educational video on Dota Underlords. I'll be doing new videos on Dota Underlords and Teamfight Tactics and any other game I start playing, and releasing like educational videos on Saturdays. So this is the very first one, and we'll start covering different games in the weeks after. So this week we're going to be covering alliances, and next week we'll be covering items. Why I want to cover alliances first is basically alliances are the most important part of these type of games, and especially in Dota Underlords, alliances are crucial in making a team work. So if you've never played Dota Auto Chess or a game like this, you'll want to understand how alliances work before you start playing the game. Inside of Dota Underlords, there is a section where you can click and see the season info, and which will allow you to see the heroes, the alliances, the items. So you can check the heroes, you can check the items, check the alliances, and from here I will be teaching you about alliances. So let's get started. So alliances are very important. They are what makes your team stronger and what you want to build your team around. Now there are primary alliances and secondary alliances. Primary alliances are teams that are sticky, that will stay on the board longer or do more damage and basically kill your opponent faster. So either you can't kill your opponent too fast, so you want to stay on the board longer, or you want to kill your opponent faster, so you'd be able to team around a certain comp that does more damage. Assassins is going to be a team that does more damage. So basically, multiple assassins on one board will give you a higher chance at doing a higher amount of critical damage. Synergies work like this. So let's say you have a bounty hunter and a bloodseeker and a morphling. Basically, that will give you the first part of assassins, first level, as you would say. All assassins gain 10% chance to critical hit for 300% damage. Now, this does not mean you put like you put 2 bloodseekers and a bounty hunter on the board. That's not going to do anything. You have to have 3 different assassins. Every alliance, every synergy requires multiple different units, not the same unit. So if you want the 6 assassin bonus, you need 6 different assassins. So assassins are a primary synergy. What you want to do with assassins is build 6 or 9 or even 3 and build them around a bunch of different types of synergies, and you'll be wanting to do more damage. You want to kill your opponent off faster, or even kill their backline, because assassins usually target the backline of the opponent's team, which is usually like the people you're hiding in the back. And for mages, they'll be hiding like their strongest hitters in the back that they don't want to die before they get off their ulti. Assassins are pretty strong for that. So they are a primary synergy that you want to go for. Bloodbound. Bloodbound is new to Dota Underlords, and it wasn't around in Dota Auto Chess if you played that. Bloodbounds are okay. They're not a great synergy. I don't see them as viable as of yet, and I don't see a reason to go for them unless you're building like a mage team that has warlocks in them. Like yeah, it just doesn't seem like a team that is very viable, especially the 2 units are kind of meh. So basically what it does is once a bloodbound unit dies, all their bloodbound get plus 100% attack damage. Sounds pretty good, but there's only 2 of them, and they're just meh. Brownies. Brownies are orcs from Dota Auto Chess if you play Dota Auto Chess. Brownies gain an increase in health based on how many brownies you have on the board. So if you have 2, you get plus 200. If you have 4, you get plus 500. The brownies are pretty good. They're very sticky. They get more health. So it's a team you can build first. They're a primary synergy. You basically want to get Axe and Beastmaster, and then maybe go for a warrior team, or Axe and Juggernaut because they're both warriors, and go for a warrior team even easier, or Axe and Beastmaster and go for hunters. Disruptor is a brawny, but he's a shaman too, so he's not really, I'll talk about that in a second, but they're not really a primary synergy. They're a secondary, so it's not something you'll go for first. But those are brawnies, and they're pretty good to start off with, early, mid, and maybe even late if you get the global items. And I'll talk about global items today, but I'll talk about the other items next time, once the next video comes out, probably next Saturday. Deadeye. Deadeye is okay. There's only 2 of them, and they don't really go into the same team. Gyrocopter is a legendary, and usually legendaries can just be tacked onto your team just for the heck of it, just as a late game unit. So Gyrocopter is okay to add onto your team. Like if you're building a hunter team, then you can add on Gyrocopter, and you already have Sniper because you're building a hunter team. Then you'll get this bonus. Basically, Deadeye makes all your Deadeyes focus the lowest health enemy, which is pretty important in these games. And sometimes you're looking at your units, and they're just attacking the biggest, strongest guy, and you're like, what are you doing? But this will make it so that they'll attack the lowest health unit, which might be helpful, but there's only 2 of them, and it's very situational. So secondary, maybe even last, like third type of synergy. Demons are strong. They are very strong, but they have a downside. So you only can have 1 demon on the board, or 1 type of demon on the board. So you can have multiple Chaos Knights or multiple Queen of Pains, but only 1 demon on the board, and they will gain plus 50% pure damage. Pure damage means that doesn't matter how much armor they have, magic resist they have, when they hit them, they will take that much damage. However much damage their damage is, plus 50%. Plus 50% pure damage. So, demons, pretty good, but they only work by themselves. So, a warrior for Doom, knights for Chaos Knight, assassins for Queen of Pain, even just putting them on a different type of team just because they do a lot of damage, but they only work by themselves. Unless you have Demon Hunters. Demon Hunters are pretty good. They basically, if you have 1 of them, they'll make your opponent's demon not have that extra plus 50% damage. But if you have 2 of them, then you'll be able to negate your opponent's demon's damage, plus give all your demons plus 50% pure damage. What does this mean? So if you have just Anti-Mage and Terrorblade, then Terrorblade will get plus 50% pure damage extra. But if you have Anti-Mage and Terrorblade and want to play a team around demons, you can also do that. So you play Anti-Mage and Terrorblade. Those 2 will invalidate your opponent's Demon Alliance bonus, which is that extra 50% damage. And then you play another demon, which will negate Terrorblade's because he's a demon. But you play another demon, so you play Doom, let's say. So both of their pure damage, plus 50% pure damage is gone, but they'll gain it back. They'll get plus 50% pure damage. So you can play as many demons as you want that way, and they'll have that bonus, which means that you can play as many demons as you want. You can play a team around demons, and that means more damage, which is good, which is a primary synergy, because you want to do more damage. So that's a team you want to build. Dragons don't really fit into the 2 categories I said. They don't stick around longer. They don't do more damage per se. They do more damage, but not in the same way I was talking about earlier. So basically what dragons do is if you have all 3 dragons, they'll start off with their 100% of their mana. So Dragon Knight, which is a unit that doesn't really become good until he ultis, will start off with 100% mana, so ulti right off the bat, which means he'll turn into a dragon, which means he'll do splash damage and be ranged, which is the primary goal of dragons. You want to make Dragon Knight ulti first, then he'll be doing a bunch of damage from the back line and just wiping your opponent's team off the board. And he does more damage, but it's not the same way. Puck will shoot her ulti, Viper will shoot his ulti right off the bat, so they may kill units right off the board or weaken them quite a bit right off the bat. So it's another way of doing more damage. It's just not in the same way. It's just reducing the amount of time that it takes to get them to do that much damage, and giving them more time to do that much damage. So it's really good. Druids, really good. Early game, even late game, they're pretty good. They're basically what they do is if you have 2 of them or 4 of them, if you have 2 of them, basically the lowest star druid will get upgraded 1 star. So there's 3 stars. Every unit has a 3-star unit at max, but you always start 1 star, right? So you have an Enchantress and a Nature's Prophet on the board. and they're both 1-star. One of them will randomly turn into a 2-star once the round starts. They'll turn back after the round ends. Pretty good. Gives you a 2-star unit really early in the game. It only costs you at minimum 3 gold, at most 4 gold early game, because you're never going to get Lone Druid early game. And if you get all 4 of them, then 2 of them will get upgraded to upgraded 1-star. So it's pretty good to get like maybe 2 of them to 3-star, and then 2 of them to 2-star, and then you have 2 free 3-star units. Pretty much, you don't have to buy another 6 units, another 12 units to get those 2 other units to 3 stars. Pretty nice perk, if I say so myself. So druids are pretty good, but there's only 4 of them, so they're usually you build them around synergy. Lone Druid is a savage, so you want to maybe go savages. I'll talk about savages in a second. Nature's Prophet is elusive, so you want to go that. Enchantress is also a savage, and Treant Protector is also elusive. So these 2 really work together, and then these 2 kind of work together. But they all work together pretty well to get you really strong units a little bit earlier. Elusives. So as I said before, Nature's Prophet and Treant Protector is also elusive. Elusives gain evasion based on how many elusives you have on the board. That means they'll stick around longer. So if you're looking to build a team like that, then you want to build elusives. Elusives, if you have 6 of them, or 3 of them, or 9 of them, they'll gain more evasion. So you have 9 of them here, and you can build a team around them, and you just want to put them on the board, and they'll just not take damage based on how much percentage of evasion they have. So if they have 75% chance of evasion, then 75% of the time they won't take hits, right? So they'll stay on the board longer, and they'll be doing damage. And there's quite a few damaging units on elusive, like Anti-Mage is pretty strong, Luna, Wind Ranger has a pretty cool ulti, Templar Assassin's really strong, Phantom Assassin's also really strong. You can even build like 6 of them and build add-on an assassin, or 9 of them and add on an assassin for the 10th unit. And they're just really strong. And probably one of the best alliances in the game right now. Heartless are good. Not a primary synergy, but they're good. So Heartless complement a team really well, basically allowing you to do more damage. But themselves as units don't work together really well. So Abaddon, he's a knight, and knights don't kick off unless you have knights. Drow Ranger, she's a hunter. Hunters don't kick off without a bunch of hunters, and they're not really strong. And Drow is not really strong by herself. Lich, he's a legendary, so he's pretty strong by himself. Necrophos is also an epic, and he's pretty strong by himself, but he's also a warlock, so he's good with another warlock. And I'll talk about those in a second. Pudge is a warrior, so he's good with warriors. Putting 2 of them, or 4 of them, or 6 of them on a team will reduce the armor of your opponent. And you see 6 here, but you only see 5 here. I'll talk about that in a second. There's a global item that lets you have more Heartlesses, and I'll talk about that in a second. But basically, by having more Heartless, you reduce the armor on your opponent's team, which allows you to do more damage to them, but they don't do much damage themselves, especially physical damage. So you're going to want to build a team that does more damage. Hunters, or a team that sticks around longer to do more damage. Knights, or even mages or warriors. So definitely not a primary synergy, but definitely a good bonus to have if you can get it. Humans are pretty cool, but they are also not a primary synergy. They don't do more damage, and they don't stick around the board longer. So what they do is they get a certain percent chance at silencing the unit they are attacking, which is pretty good. If you're fighting a unit that really reliant on their ulti, it's really good at stopping them from ulting, right? So if you're building a team with a Dragon Knight in it, maybe add a Omni Knight, and you have the Knight synergy, and then you'll get, once they're hitting somebody, they'll silence somebody. Lycan, Kunkka, they're warriors. They'll silence somebody. Lena, Keeper, Crystal Maiden, they're mages. They'll silence somebody when they're attacking them. Bloodseeker, he's a assassin, but I mean you can build like maybe a 3 or 6 assassin team and add some front line with like Kunkka or Lycan, Omni Knight, Dragon Knight, whatever, or build with some mages or whatever, and you'll be able to have that. But it's just silencing, so you're not doing damage. You're not killing them faster. You may be stopping them from killing you faster, but only with a certain percentage chance. You don't have extra damage or more armor or whatever. You don't have that. You just having a certain chance of stopping them from ulting, which buys you a little time, but it's not gonna win you the match. Hunters, they attack. They have a chance of quickly performing 2 attacks. Really strong. Earlier in the season, earlier when the early release was out, they were really, really strong, but now they're weaker, but they're still pretty strong. So they do multiple attacks, which means more damage, or quickly performing 2 attacks, which is more damage. And that's a viable strategy. So they are a primary synergy. So basically what you want to do with Hunters is build a team of 3 or 6 to get a higher chance at performing 2 attacks quickly. And then maybe build a team with Warlocks or Trolls, which I'll talk about in a second, and gain like attack speed bonus or lifesteal bonus, or add another Heartless in there to reduce the armor of your opponent. So when you're doing those 2 attacks quickly, they have less armor, they're taking more damage, whatever. But you want to build a team. You want to build Hunters first, and then some other synergy to make them stronger second. That's why they are primary synergy. Inventors. Inventors are pretty good, especially early and mid game. Late game, they're okay. So inventors and scrappies, I'll talk about in a second too, are one and the same, kinda. Most inventors are scrappies, and most scrappies are inventors, except for Gyrocopter and Bounty Hunter, which I'll get to in a second. As you can see, Gyrocopter, he is a Deadeye, not a scrappy, and then you'll see in a second I'll have Bounty Hunter. He's an assassin, not an inventor. So what they do is they get more HP regen. They'll stick around longer, so they're good. Early game, mid game, they're good. But they also only have HP regen, so if they can stay around longer, but they're not negating damage. They're only gaining health over time. So if a mage is going to wipe your team, they're going to do a bunch of damage instantly. That HP regen is not going to do anything. So it's not the same as if you had knights or warriors or brawnies. It's not something that is just tacked on to you. You slowly gain it over time, but if time is not a thing for your team, because the opponent's team is just quicker, then it's not going to help. So they're okay. They're okay early and mid, but late game, once people start like killing units off in 1 or 2 hits or instantly wiping teams, they're not so great. But they are a good, viable strategy to go for early and maybe swap off to something else later. Knights. Okay, like I was just saying, knight units take a certain percentage less physical and magic damage when standing one cell away from each other, which is a way to stick on the board, which is good, which is something that makes them, which just reduces damage instantly instead of gaining health back like inventors do. So they're really good. They're a primary synergy. You can build 2 of them, you can build 4 of them, you can build 6 of them. Build them around synergy. You can build them around dragons. You can build them around trolls. They're just good. They're good units. Mages. Mages are also a primary synergy, but they may not look it when you look at their bonus. So their bonus basically reduces magic resistance on the opponent. Doesn't sound like it's doing more damage. Doesn't sound like it's making them stick longer on the board. But once you think about it, they are doing more damage because they are mages. So mages rely on their ulti to do damage. And their ultis are usually magic damage, right? So Keeper of the Light, Lich, Lina, Puck, Razor, they're going to do more damage once they're going to do more damage if their magic resistance on the opponent is lower. So you want to reduce that magic resistance to instantly wipe their board after you release those ultis. And this allows you to do that. So this is the one time I will say that like reducing your opponent's magic resistance or something like that, or like I said, Heartless, they reduced armor. This is the first time I'll say that this type of synergy is viable, is a primary synergy, because the units that do it rely on it. You don't want to build mages without having that. So that is a primary synergy. Primordials. Primordials are elementals from auto chess, if you ever played auto chess. And they're slightly different. So in this game, Primordials disarm melee attackers for 4 seconds. And they have a certain percent chance, and if you get 4 of them, allies also have that chance. Pretty good. Pretty good synergy, but they're not doing anything for you, right? They're not staying on the board longer, and they're not doing more damage. But they will keep you alive longer at 30% chance. Pretty good. Secondary synergy. What you want to do is build mages with Razor, and maybe add a Morphling in, or add Enigma in, or add a Tiny in for frontline or something like that to get that extra bonus so that the melee attackers get disarmed. But it doesn't work on range units. So if your opponent has all range units, nothing's going to happen. They're not going to be disarmed. They're still going to just keep on pounding away at you. Units that do get disarmed just don't attack. They're acting like they don't have a weapon. But it only works on melee units, so it's also a downside to that. So yeah, good secondary, especially if you're fighting a bunch of warriors or a bunch of knights. Savages. Savages are pretty good. They're doing more damage, right? Well, yeah, they are doing more damage, and it is a viable primary synergy, but maybe not the best one, I feel, but they're pretty good. So what they do is allies gain a bonus attack damage based on how many you have. But also summonings gain that much bonus damage. So Venomancer, Lone Druid, Lycan, who summon units, will also get that bonus attack damage, which is pretty good. So if you have a bunch of summonings, you're doing a bunch more damage, and you have a really strong team. And you can build that around like warriors, because there's 2 of them already. There's a Lycan and a Tusk. You can build that around druids, because there's a Lone Druid and Enchantress, and you can get them upgrade faster. Maybe wipe your opponents off faster. Maybe build a couple with assassins. Maybe get a front line going with assassins, have Sand King in. Or if you need another warlock, you can add a Venomancer, and you're building a warrior warlock team or something like that. It's pretty good. They have a bunch of different comps that they can go with. But so they're kind of like a hybrid. They're both a primary and a secondary. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. Like, my stomach is just going crazy. Indigestion, maybe. But they're really good, primary or secondary. So they'll complement the team really well, and they're pretty good by themselves. Scaled. So Scaled is a very situational alliance. Now, most of the time you'll have this alliance when you just play hunters, because Medusa and Tidehunter are hunters, and they're probably the best hunters, so you'll probably have them on your team anyway, so you always have 2 scaled. Slark is an assassin, and Slardar is a warrior. So it's highly unlikely you'll play all 4. Even to negate 50% magic resist and kill mages, or maybe stop mages from killing you, you're not going to be doing much damage. You're building a team with Slardar, Slark, Medusa, and Tidehunter. You're going to build a team like warriors, and then you're going to add a Medusa or Tidehunter in afterwards to get that extra 30. But highly unlikely you'll play all 4. But if you do play all 4, you do get 50% magic resist, and you're going to live longer against mages. So yeah, there you go. Not a primary, but a secondary. or maybe even is it Triary? Third. Scrappies. So I was talking about inventors and Scrappies being inventors and inventors being Scrappies, most of them, except for Bounty Hunter and Gyrocopter. So basically, Scrappies, they also have a thing to do with HP regen, but they also gain armor, which, if you think about it, well, I haven't actually talked about them yet, but warriors gain armor, and they're also a primary synergy. Oh my god. So Scrappies, a random ally, if you have 3 of them, a random ally will gain 15 armor and 10 HP regen. And a lot of them are one cost units, so they'll show up early game. So you get them early. So let's say Bounty Hunter, Clockwork Tinker, Timbersaw is a 2 cost. So these are the units you can get really early, and you can hold yourself. You can hold the game for pretty long, like a good win streak, early and mid game if you have like level 2s of these units. Very viable comp. Problem is that the 6 bonus, which could possibly win you the game, they can go late game, but the 6 bonus requires Techies and Alchemist. Alchemist is an epic. Techies is a legendary. So hard to get. If no one else is playing them, maybe. And if you have a lot of gold, if you're elite, you can stay alive longer, spend more gold, get a better economy going. Then yeah. But otherwise, not really good for late game because you're betting on getting an Alchemist and a Techies. So really good early, mid, primary synergy, definitely a primary synergy. And if you can get, and they're also, like I said, they're all inventors. So if you'll get inventor bonus by having inventors. So you get even more HP regen with that being said. So plus 8, if you get 6 plus 10 HP regen plus the inventor HP regen, ridiculous amount of HP regen. But like I said, you're relying on 2 units that may not be easy to find. So good primary synergy, but hard to make. Shamans, pretty cool. So you have 2 of them. They will instantly hex a unit on your opponent's board, on your opponent's side, for 6 seconds once the match starts. There's only 3 of them. It hexes a unit. It's not going to do much more. Secondary or 3rd synergy. Trolls. Really good. They have more attack speed if you have 2 of them or 3 of them. You have even more attack speed if you have 4 of them. Then you give your allies extra attack speed when you have 4 of them. Really good primary. And then they're adding more attack speed to your allies too. So you build 4 of them, and then you're building what? Knights because Batrider, or warriors because of Troll Warlord, or even something else. Or hunters, just to get attack speed on hunters. It's good. It's a good team. They're very good primary. I wouldn't call them even a secondary. They're just primary. I mean, I guess if you're even working them, like you're putting them together with another primary like hunters or knights, they're like a primary that complements primaries really well. And there's only 4 of them, so they don't take much of your inventory to make. And the highest cost is epic, so it's not that hard to make. And these are 1 cost, 2 cost, 1 cost, so not very bad. Warlocks, good. They are good. They give you lifesteal. All your allies get lifesteal, but depending on how many you have. And they're all good units. Like, I'm still not very sure about Warlock, but Witch Doctor, he's a troll. Trolls are good. Venomancer, he's a savage. Savages are good. Shadow Fiend, he's a really strong demon. He works really well with mages. He has a really strong ulti. Necrophos, he's a Heartless. You put him with a team with a Heartless, or just put him by himself. He heals allies and stuff like that. They're just all good units. And having 2 of them is not really going to hurt your team because you're getting lifesteal. They're going to live on the board longer because they're doing attacks. They're going to get life back. And you're going to have a unit that does much more by having them on the board. So Warlocks are good secondaries. They're just, I mean, by themselves, they don't do much attacking. Like, they're not really like except for Shadow Fiend, who does pretty good damage. The rest of them don't really do that much damage. So good secondary because they just don't attack that fast or do anything to use that lifesteal very well. Warriors. This is the last one, and they are very sticky because they get more armor, so they are a primary. There's also a lot of them, so it's really easy to make 3 or 6, even 9. There's more than 9 units, so you can't say that about most of the types of alliances, but Warriors, they have 10 units, so pretty easy to make a team with them. And you get a bunch early. Axe is a 1-star, 1-cost unit. Jug's a 2-star. I mean, you have a bunch. You have epics. You have even you have Doom, who's an epic. You have no legendaries, so you don't have to worry about like that really low chance of making them. And Doom is really strong. Kunkka's really strong. He has good CC, and you want to build teams around CC late game. So Warriors are just really good. Complement them with like trolls or even some primordials. Add some warlocks in. You can go savages because of Tusk and Lycan. Really good team. Might fall off late because armor is negligible. So if you're fighting teams that like mages, but good team, good stuff. So right now we're going to jump into global items because global items and synergies have to do with each other. And without talking about global items, it's hard to talk about alliances. So we're not going to talk about all the global items because not all the global items affect synergies, but we'll talk about the ones that do. So I think Soul Sucking Siphon is one, and it is the Warlock one. So basically, allied units 1 cell away from Warlocks heal for 25% of all damage caused by abilities and items. What does this mean? So Warlocks, they only, if you don't have this, they only affect units attacking. So if you're attacking, you get lifesteal back. You're doing damage with an attack, a basic attack, you're getting lifesteal back. Doing this means that if you're a mage team using your ulti to do damage, you get life back, which is good. So that means it works with now your warlocks working with your mages and your dagons and whatever. Works with your items, works with your ultis. It's great. It's a good bonus, and definitely for a team that revolves around magic damage or abilities, it's a really good bonus to have. Strain Bedfellows. So if you're building a team around demon hunters and demons, you want this. So demon hunters give plus 50% back, pure damage back to demons, right? Well, this gives demon hunters plus 30% pure damage for each demon unit. So if you're playing a bunch of demons, your anti-mage and your Terrorblade are just going to be ridiculously strong because they're going to have so much more pure damage. They're just going to be doing all their damage without like armor reduction or anything, without any armor in their way or anything. So it's really good if you're building a demon team. Unstable Reactor. So allied inventors explode on death, dealing 20% of their max health to all enemies 1 cell away. So you're playing a bunch of inventors. It's a really good perk to have. It's just they're going to do damage once on their death, so you get a higher chance of winning the round. Aegis is not one. Age of Chivalry is for knights. So non-knight units gain 10% damage reduction for each allied knight unit 1 cell away. It's good. It's just going to give you more. It's going to give you more healthier units, stronger units. Especially if you're playing like troll knights or something like that, they're gonna give reduction to units that aren't knights, which is pretty good if you're building like maybe just adding an Abaddon onto your team because you want to get that Heartless bonus. Then you have if you have like Abaddon next to another unit, then you'll get damage reduction, which is pretty good. Completing the cycle. So this is a global item that for druids. and it heals allies 1 cell away over time for 30% of its total health for 6 seconds after a druid dies. I mean, it just heals them. It's good. They're all good. All these global items are good. I mean, it's just bonuses for your team. And you're going to heal an ally once they die. So if you're building a team around druids, you want to try to get this global item. Coordinated Assault. This is so good. So troll units give plus 25 attack speed to allies 1 cell away. So trolls, you need 4 of them to usually give allies attack speed, right? But with this, you only need 1. Like let's say you want to play warriors, but you just want troll warlord. You put him on your team. Anybody that's 1 cell away from him gets plus 25 attack speed. It's just a good bonus. And if you have all 4 trolls, then you're getting extra attack speed being next to them, plus the attack speed from the alliance. So you're just getting a good amount. It's just great. It's just a good bonus to have. Like playing trolls, you need this. This is like very necessary to make like your team just one. If there's another troll team and you have this, you're the better troll team. Force in battle for Brawnies, really strong. If you started off with Brawnies or mid game or early game with Brownies, because Brawny units start the round with plus 50 max health for each unit they've killed. So you get a crazy amount of health by having this on your team. Indomitable Will. Yeah, Indomitable Will. Summoning Stone. There we go. This is not really, doesn't have to do with Alliance, but it's pretty good. So allied summoned units have plus 150 health, plus 30 attack. So if you're playing like Savages, Summoning Stone is pretty good for your team because you're going to be playing a bunch of units that are summoned. So they'll have more attack speed. If you look at those summoned units, a lot of them are really slow. So if you're playing this, then you'll get more health, more attack speed. They'll just be stronger. It's just good. Tooth and Claw is for Savages. So Summoning Stone and Tooth and Claw is usually together. You want to get both of those. And Savage units apply a stackable 10 damage bleed on attack. Bleed is basically damage over a second. It's pretty good. Stoppable for Warriors. So this is pretty crazy. So if your warrior is going to die after receiving that killing blow, they'll stay alive for 2 more seconds. So if you have like a bunch of warriors on your team and they're fighting and they get like annihilated by like a techies or annihilated by a mage team, they'll be alive for 2 more seconds, wiping your bonus team off the board. Pretty good. They'll be extra sticky. They're like, it's just really good. It's essential for a warrior team to go into late game. This is very essential for a warrior team to go into late game. So Check the Bodies is for scrappy units, and they have a 20% chance of producing 1 gold when they kill an enemy. This is good for economy, and definitely good if you're trying to look for techies or alchemists late game. You'll want as much gold as possible. This will get you that. So definitely want this if you're going scrappies, because you'll need to get to a high amount of gold to get those late game units. Dragon's Horde. This is really, really strong, but you need to keep a strong economy. I've been saying economy all video long. Economy is basically just keeping gold in your, because every you get 10% back on your 10% back up to 5 extra gold on your income, on your income. So basically, if you have 50 gold, you get 5 gold back, which is good. Dragon units gain 1% attack damage for every gold you own. So you have 50 gold, you get 50% extra attack damage. It's really good. It's just making dragons stronger. And there you go. That's all it is. Gets your dragons stronger, they're going to do more damage, they're going to kill people. Elusive targets. I think they started running out of names, just adding the names of the alliance to these, because some of them don't even have the alliance names. Elusive units are invisible for the first 3 seconds of a fight. Good. So basically, your units will they'll just go invisible. They won't be seen by the opponent for the first 2 seconds of the fight, but they'll be able to hit the opponent. If you're playing elusives, well, I mean, your evasion's really good, right? But I mean, not being able to be seen or hit for 3 seconds is even better. So yeah, you want to play this, especially to go into late game. You want to get this with elusives. Just makes them that much stronger. They'll stick on the board longer, and they'll be able to do more damage. And it's just a great perk. I don't think Final Flash. Okay, Final Flash is mages. Mages, yeah, they reset their cooldown and get full mana when below 30% health. Kind of sounds like the dragon bonus, right? So once they get to 30%, below 30% health, they will ulti again, basically, because they'll get full mana and reset their cooldowns. So, Keeper of the Light, Razor, everybody, they'll ulti again. So this is really good for late game, because then you'll be doing their ultis twice, which means they just basically much quicker to wipe the opponent's team off the board or your opponent's team off the board, which is just really good. It's really strong. Mages, they tend to try to wipe the team off as fast, the other team off as fast as possible. This will make it even faster, and definitely essential for late game. Font of Creation for Primordials. So they will summon an Eidolon on death. Eidolons are these weak-low Primordials, which still have the Primordial buff, but they don't spawn other Eidolons. But, I mean, it's a nice little perk. If you're going to have a few Eidolons, a few Primordials on your team, might as well have this. More units to get disarm your opponent with, do a little bit more damage with. So, not too bad. Hunter's Focus. Hunters deal 10% extra attack damage for each other hunter attacking the same target. Pretty good. Just do more damage if they're attacking the same target. Easy, does more damage, kills units faster. Good bonus. Pocket Sand for Assassins. So Assassins will blind enemies 1 cell away from where they land for 2 seconds. So wherever they go, once they land there, they will be blinded. They will have a 50% chance to miss attacks. God. Pretty good. Means the assassins, if they're fighting against this really strong opponent, they're not going to die right away, and they're going to be stickier longer, so they're not just going to be really high attack damage, because they're not going to be getting crits, but they'll be able to stick a little bit longer, possibly, based on the miss chance. Retaliate. So for scaled, units attacking scaled units take 80 damage for 3 seconds. This makes scaled more viable on your team. This timer resets each time the scaled unit is attacked. So, like I said, you're unlikely to play 4 scaled on your team. But if you do, and have this, you'll be doing more damage, which means they're going to be a little bit more viable. Even if you're playing just hunters, you're going to be doing more damage because you're going to have probably 2 of them, Medusa and Tidehunter. They're going to be doing more damage, so it's good for a hunter team. It's good for any team that you're running scaled. It's just good. It's good, especially for scaled that are a little bit tankier, like not Slark, but Slargar. Shaman Pluck. Units attacking a shaman have 5% chance of being turned into a chicken. Very small chance, but nice perk nonetheless if you're playing a few shamans. A couple shamans, usually a couple, not usually 4, but if you're playing shamans, good. Or is it 3? I think there's only 3. Is it 4? 3. Wicked Intent. So opponent's healing is reduced by 25% per unique Heartless unit you have. You're running Heartless, why not? Get it. It's going to make your opponents die faster because they're not going to be, their HP regen is just not going to be as good. Or if they're getting healing from like Enchantress or something. Just not good. So there you go. Okay. Vicious Intent. Not really a synergy bonus, but good. Each of your fighting units, including summons, deals 1 additional damage to your opponent if they lose to you. So this is not for your board, but if you're units are sent to another board, and they beat that opponent. Each of the surviving units does 1 extra damage. It's a good perk because you'll be defeating your opponent faster, which means that they will not be in the game longer, which means that you can possibly win faster. Good perk, not exactly a global item for your team, but good if you're trying to win faster. This is a tier 5 global item. Tier 5 items are really good. They're the items you want. Desperate Measures is one of them, and it is a really good item. Now your units will gain 1% extra plus 1% attack damage per 5 points of damage your Underlord has taken. So if you're really low down, if you want to come back into the game, this is something you want. Or if you're really high up and you want to hold your spot, you want this item because you're just going to have more attack damage. But if you're really high up, you're just not going to get that much more. But if you're really low down, it is definitely something that brings you back into the game. That is all of the global items that affect alliances. Thanks guys for watching this video. That is all I'm going to say on alliances today. Next week, we will be talking about items. Items are, they're essential to become a good player at this game. You need to have good items and have good synergies. So we'll be talking about that next week. And then the week after, we will probably get into teamfight tactics. So thanks guys for watching. Stay positive. Love you guys. And see you on Monday when I have a new gameplay video. Thanks.